The Big Play Reflog Show is brought to you by ShackNews.com. Shack News, your go-to for gaming news, covers all of your gaming content needs, including their upcoming Shack News E4 2020 event. E3's canceled. Shack News E4 2020 is here. They are going to be releasing 3 days of really awesome content, bringing everyone together through video games during these tough times, followed by a live stream with an incredible guest, Ice-T, on June 11th. Check that out on the Shack News Twitch channel. Remember, Shack News, your go-to site this summer for video game content and live streams. So, guys, go visit their site when you're sitting around. Catch up on all that is gaming. Check it out on Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, at Shack News, and at shacknews.com. Go check them out. Go check out Shack News E4 2020.
Hi, everyone. Tim Kinzer from NBA Jam and NFL Blitz. You're listening to the best podcast on the air, Boom Shakalaka.
Okay, do you need medical attention?
Yeah.
What is wrong?
I don't know. I ain't no goddamn doctor.
Free Shakalaka. Reflog. It's just golfer backwards. Boom Shakalaka.
Welcome to the Big Play Reflog Show. Today is Monday, June 8th, 2020. I am your host, Big Play Dave, alongside my main man, Mr. Chris McNeil. What's up, brother?
Good, man. How you doing, Dave?
I am doing fantastic, and welcome to Bree the Beef Slicer. Breezy Clean, what's going on?
Oh, I love that nickname came out of last week's show. Hello, everyone.
And if you missed last week's show, I will give you no update, no content relevant to that. You just call her Bree the Beef Slicer. It's fine. We got a great show for you guys tonight. So we are going to kick off the show with some Power Rank Monday, as we always do. Best books we read in school. A lot of reading going on. Chris, thanks for that one. Then we will interview our featured interview of the week, Lori Schmidt, Ohio State football, Muirfield doubleheader down in Columbus going on. Excited to talk with Lori about that. She was catching up with Ryan Day today and the entire Buckeyes squad. After that, we will get into Cleveland sports headlines. We'll be discussing NBA coming back, not the Cavs. Browns offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt with some updates on the offense. And then we'll hit you with a couple Would You Rathers and give you our bold predictions for the week. Let's kick it off with some Power Rank Monday.
It's time for Power Rank Monday.
All right, so Chris held a Twitter poll this week comparing The Catcher in the Rye and The Lord of the Flies. So we're power ranking our favorite books we read in school. All right, so I will kick it off.
That poll, by the way, came out 60% Lord of the Flies, 40% Catcher in the Rye.
And
so for all of those who are wondering, about 5,000 people, I believe, voted for that. Yeah.
And is that correct?
Bringing in on that. I went Catcher in the Rye, but
Okay.
I was soundly yelled at for the last couple of days about that choice. They're calling me a phony, ironically enough.
That's funny. All right, so I'm going to kick it off here, and I'm going to go all middle school. So I'm going to go my number 3. I'm going with all of the Goosebumps books.
Ooh, good choice.
Did you guys read these growing up?
Yeah, but that wasn't in school.
Well, I was in school. Whatever. I didn't really look all that much into this Power Rank Monday. Whatever. But I do remember one of the Goosebumps book had like it was like a 3D covered, like where you could like, feel the what was it, like the ooze, the green ooze on it.
Oh, yeah.
So this is
back in the Scholastic Books days?
probably
you get
so. Probably so.
Yeah, you get the 2-page thing. You pick out the books. Yeah, those are good times. Did you guys do that at school?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That.
Yeah, that was a big time. That was big time back then, before Amazon or, all these other things. It was that little piece of paper you would get that's folded over and got all the colors in it, and you'd pick out the book you'd like. Yeah, and it'd be very special when those would come in.
My daughter still has those, just FYI. They
That's
still do
still
that.
around?
Yeah,
No
like she
kidding.
brings home the little pamphlet. I love it.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't know that. All right, my number 2, Matilda.
Man,
so
Dave,
random, Dave, from you.
I love Matilda.
this is not on brand. You're kind of coming out of left field here.
What do you mean? Did you not like Matilda?
I guess it's fine.
It's a fantastic
I don't
book.
know. I didn't read it.
Oh, you never
but,
read it? Well, then there you go, Chris. You got to step up your reading game here, obviously, and I'll get into my number 1.
Obviously.
Any Cliff Notes? So, speaking of
tough.
things you had to go pick up that weren't on the internet, do you remember the little yellow books that you'd go buy at the library that were the actual
Yes.
Cliff Notes for basically
Remember them?
anything?
I've got it like a library. I've got a
you really?
library of those bad boys.
You still have them?
Oh yeah, I've got them somewhere around. Yeah, that was the way to go, man. Of course, I used them as they were supposed to be, as a supplemental read to the book, and it furthered my understanding of the book.
Yeah, I read those pretty much exclusively through high school. So now you learned a little bit more about me. So I was an English major, and I read so many books throughout college. I don't like it anymore. I really love movies. I'm just over it. I don't really read.
You're an English major in college. You end up with a lame list that gives Goosebumps, Matilda, and Cliff Notes. Then when you're 40 years old, I love it.
You know what, Chris? We'll see how lame your list is. Let's hear yours.
It is pretty bad. My number 3, The Phantom Toll Booth. Do you remember this one?
I don't remember this.
No. Wow.
No, I don't either.
Going through a fantasy land of like letters and colors, and I don't know. It was like a middle school type of book, and I thought it was pretty imaginative, and it caught my attention when I was a kiddo. One of my aunts got it for me. She was an educator. A lot of my aunts are educators, and so she always had kind of these cool off the beaten path type of books. And Phantom Toll Booth was really good, and I enjoyed it as a kid. My number 2.
I'll have to check that out.
Assigned reading here that I ended up liking, Animal Farm.
Ah, yes.
Animal Farm. I always like biting commentary that involves farm animals. I'm really big into that.
Now,
Charlotte's Web's pretty good.
What was the premise of
This
Animal
is pretty
Farm?
good.
I kind of remember, but what was the meaning or the what was the premise of that book?
Well, it was basically farm animals that are trying to arrange themselves as a society.
Okay.
And eventually you get to the point where you have things, and they deal with like racism and things along the way, because I think the pigs come out and say, well, the pigs can stay in the house, other people can't. And they said, well, isn't everybody equal? Well, yes, but some people are more equal than others, I think was the quote. And so it tackles some of those themes that are actually very, very on brand with what's going on right now, and have been for years and years and years. It's tackled in that book, and they talk about government and the way it's set up, and actually some pretty advanced themes that they tackle, through exploring with farm animals.
Nice. If you have the Cliff Notes, please send it my way.
Oh, there's plenty of Cliff Notes on that one, too. And my number 1, way before it was a movie, it was a book, Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. I thought that was fantastic. I loved it. I was actually a little disappointed when the movie came out, because it had tickled my imagination so much, and I built it up in my head that even as great as the Spielberg flick was, it still was just like, okay, yeah, I guess that's pretty good. And so I really loved the book. I thought it was really imaginative. I loved dinosaurs as a kid. Loved dinosaurs.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, that just, the prospect of having dinosaurs actually walk amongst us, it just blew my mind.
So
Jurassic Park.
This is why I don't read, because I saw that movie and it was one of my favorite movies of all time. So your book ruined it for you.
That's right. Yeah, I thought the book. I'm one of those guys. See,
You're a book snob. I knew you were one.
Yeah, yeah. The book is better than the movie. You got to read the book.
Yes. Did you read Lord of the Rings?
I don't do any Lord of the Rings. I haven't seen it. I haven't read any books. I'm not into them.
Oh, man. All right. Bree, I know Lord of the Rings is on your top 3, so I'm sorry for the teaser there.
No, it is not at all.
Bree, what's your top 3 books?
All right, guys. So number 3, anything Edgar Allan Poe. I don't know if you guys read any of his stuff. Mostly short stories, poems. My mother would be proud, but all of the books on my list were actually books we read in her class. Yes, I had my mom as a teacher in 8th grade.
No,
wow.
I didn't know you were allowed to have your mom as a teacher.
Yeah.
Interest. I want to go back and audit those records. I want to see
Okay, you and everyone else. I never spoke in her class, just FYI. And I'm pretty sure she gave me a C on one of my tests. So.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, number 2, The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. Also a movie. So you may have watched the movie, but did you guys ever read this or watch the movie?
I think I've seen the movie.
Okay, so this might ring a bell. Ponyboy Curtis. It was like the Greasers versus the Sox. So essentially the poor kids on one end of the town and then the rich kids, and they were against each other. It was good. It was really good. And then finally,
was the book better or the movie?
I mean, the book's always better in my mind.
All right.
But the movie was good.
Not like me.
All these movies ruined for you guys. Go ahead.
Number 1, To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. So this obviously is a book that unfortunately could probably still be read and shared today based on race issues. It was set in the Deep South during the Great Depression. And unfortunately, there's a lot of things that are still relevant and still happening in our country. But a really great story here based on the point of view of Scout. Remember Scout? Scout Finch,
Oh, yeah.
Atticus.
Oh, yes.
Boo Radley. So
Boo Radley. There was actually a band called the Boo Radleys.
Really?
You know that? Yes. Yes.
No.
I don't know if they're still around, but I remember, I don't know, for some reason my teacher wanted to share that there were the Boo Radleys out there. I don't know what kind of music, but they were touring the country.
That's it. That's all I got.
I like it. Well, you guys are smarter than me. Whatever.
You're an English major, Dave.
Oh, that's funny. All right, let's get away from books. Let's get to some good content here with some Buckeyes, some golf, and we're moving into our featured interview of the week. Here we go. So on the line, our featured interview, we have the headed Columbus reporter and pride of OU, Boo, Lori Schmidt, joining the show. How are you, Lori?
Hey, it's been 2 whole days since I've hit a square on Apocalypse Bingo, so I think we're trending in a good direction.
All right, so we have to address this. OU, me and Chris went to Miami. We don't look down on you at all, so just wanted to let you know that.
I do, Dave. Speak for yourself. Of course I do. A little bit.
It's okay.
Did everybody just drop off?
She left.
Wow.
She left.
That was it. No clap back on that. Lori, no clap back at all. Wow.
I was just waiting for you to put your foot in your mouth inevitably. So
that's why we stopped.
It will happen.
Yeah.
So I saw you were
give me enough dead air and I'll hang myself like always.
That's right. That's right. So we saw you were at Ohio State's voluntary workouts today. Did you get any good info on the Buckeyes?
Well, we didn't get to see them work out. We only got to watch them enter the building. I'm not sure how much information you can glean from that. We did see the players return, and I guess if we took anything from it, it was how excited everyone was just to have a little taste of football again. And the players seemed excited, even as you could only see part of their face because they were all wearing their face masks. But they all seemed very excited to be there. and they all had a little bounce in their step. So it's just nice to get a little taste of that again.
And how is it being out in the field? That actually doing the work? Is it kind of refreshing getting back out there?
It was nice to see people that I haven't seen in a long time, but this event did start at 6 a.m. It did go a little late. We were out there in the sun, standing on our little socially distant X's, and I may have a little bit of a sunburn right now, the kind of sunburn you can only get when your ancestors' dance is the sprinkler. So.
Oh, fair enough. So I saw you snapped a pic of Ryan Day going into the building today. What kind of similarities do you kind of see between Urban Meyer and Ryan Day as he's heading into this next season off a pretty good year last year?
I see a similar intensity. Obviously, they're both offensive-minded coaches in different ways. Urban made the offense his, and Ryan's done that in a very different way, but they both focus on that side of the ball. They are both coaches who work very well assembling a staff. They are both creative in recruiting, and they both have high expectations because they coach at OSU. So there are enough similarities that Ohio State fans, if they were happy with Urban, they should be very happy with Ryan Day.
So, Laura, I wanted to ask you, Justin Fields, a lot of talk about him already, and hopefully the good season that he will have as we head into 2020. Where do you see him ranking among all-time OSU quarterbacks? There's already been speculation from Browns fans here that we should take him 100% in the draft.
Yeah, boy.
Already. Oh,
Without
no.
even a season starting.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Is there like a slogan for that yet? Like,
It'll
play bad on
come.
the field for Fields or something? Okay. I know that he was wearing I think it was humility over hype t-shirt today, which seems a little counterproductive to me if you're going to put your humble brag on your t-shirt. But Justin I've covered some pretty good OSU quarterbacks. Troy Smith probably was the best that I've covered. Cardell Jones had just an incredible arm. Justin Fields has a chance to be just as good, if not better than them. A lot will depend on what he can get out of his receiving core this season. A lot of it will depend on what his senior season looks like. I mean, heck, if he gets COVID in the middle of the season and misses 2 important weeks, it's a very strange. Oh, excuse me, that's the sunburn. It's a very strange season we're heading into, and it's really hard to say anything for certain about what's going to happen in 2020.
Anything you saw out there today that they were doing or not doing with the COVID and taking precautions? Anything that struck you?
Yes, there was a line in their email about the precautions that they were taking that said that they were going to clean the doorknobs every hour. And I did not believe them. But they did. Apparently, Anthony Fauci's grouchy, germaphobe, fastidious older brother made the rules there because they came out and said that it's the cleanest building that you will ever come across. And they were indeed cleaning the doorknobs every hour that we were there.
Who gets that job? Is that a freshman there, or who from the Ohio State University gets that job to clean doorknobs? That's a rough one. Wow. That's good that they're doing that, though, that they're taking the precautions. They're taking it seriously. Hopefully we don't have the same problems that they had down at like Alabama, down at where else did they have? Auburn also had some problems with the COVID already. So I'm glad they're at least taking it seriously. We're talking with Lori Schmidt.
Yeah.
Follow her on Twitter at Lori Schmidt. Lori, I'm going to kind of switch tracks a little bit on you here. Talk a little golf. Coming up in July, it sounds like we're going to have back-to-back weekends of golf there in Columbus with Muirfield and then another tournament. What have you been hearing about this event or these events?
Well, the first week, the working title tournament will not have any fans there. And that will be a nice chance for the people at Muirfield to sort of figure out the logistics of everything. It'll also be a chance for golfers to get exactly what they want when they say they don't want people taking photos and they don't want any noise and heaven forbid a camera click while they're in their backswing. So that'll be the first week. And then the second week, when you have the memorial, it will be a trial run for the PGA. They're going to allow fans, about 8,000 of them, which is about 20% of what the course can actually field. And there'll probably be some stipulations like mask wearing. There will probably be temperature checks, that sort of thing. But it will be one of the first golf events with a gallery at it. And it's going to be, it's interesting to me how Columbus has become sort of the center of the sports world in some ways, in that Columbus is a favorite to be one of the hub cities when the NHL playoffs return. Yeah. And they are this sort of pivotal PGA tour stop as the golf world figures out how to come back from the pandemic.
Well, and you kind of look at the beginning too. We kind of kicked off going away with the Arnold Classic. The Arnold Classic, we decided not to hold that there in Columbus. And that was big at that time, you know, with international people coming in from all over the world. And we decided not to have that. And that was kind of one of those things that I think struck nationally when people said, wow, if they're willing to do that for what it means to Columbus, that means this stuff is really, really as serious as everybody is saying. And now it's kind of neat on the bookend, like you're saying, to have us come back with back-to-back weeks with Muirfield and maybe the NHL. What have you heard, Lori? Anything additional with the NHL here as they try and ramp up? I had heard that they may be moving back some camps to maybe even the beginning of August. Have you heard anything there?
Well, the phase one of the whole thing is supposed to start later here in June. And at that point, there won't be any media contact with players, but there'll be players working together in NHL arenas. And I think part of the reason for that is part of the reason OSU football players are back on campus and players are back on campus at other places. It's that as much as we treat athletes like commodities, that has its good sides to it too, in a way, in that these owners want to protect their investment, I guess you could say. What happened in the NHL was that players were telling their GMs and coaches and whatnot, hey, look, Georgia is opening. I'm just going to go hit the gyms there. And no one thought that it was a good idea for Nick Foligno to be working out at a Planet Fitness in Georgia where they might not be taking care of the facilities as fastidiously as they might at Nationwide Arena. So that's part of the reason why these teams and schools are bringing back their athletes, because they know they're going to work out in some way, shape, or form. They'd rather be doing that in conditions that they control. So that's part of the reason that the NHL will, later this month, most likely, have their phase one underway, where they're bringing back players and they're starting to work out in small groups, similar to what we saw at OSU today.
Oh, that's fascinating. I'd never thought of that angle, where you got all these players at, like you say, a Planet Fitness just walking around, where they're obviously, if you're an owner, that's just got to keep you up at night to think of that. So it's a lot safer if you bring them into your facilities where you have more control. We all know that these owners are control freaks anyway, right?
Well, and then back to OSU again, Nicholas Petit-Frere, the OSU football player, the offensive lineman, he decided that he wanted to do pull-ups off the gutter of his house. Let's just say his mom is really, really glad that Nicholas Petit Frere is back on campus right now and working out with Mickey Marotti.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Lori, any predictions you have on the Buckeyes for this season? Assuming that we have a season, everything comes off okay. What do you see as the prospects for our Ohio State Buckeyes?
I don't see them slowing down. I really don't, especially not with Justin Fields playing another season and getting another season under his belt. It's really, like I said, it's really hard to predict anything, but I cannot see the Buckeyes hitting a speed bump this year in the Big Ten. I really can't.
Lori, how about the running back? Obviously losing J.K. Dobbins. Do you think they'll lose any step there? I know they've got some pretty good players, but and any thoughts on that running back room heading into this season?
Well, it'll be the first time in a little while that OSU probably won't see the depth that they have seen recently at the position. You don't have sort of a situation where you have Ezekiel Elliott and J.K. Dobbins, or what they had last year. You don't see that now. Trey Sermons and Master Teague are good players, but I don't know that you're going to see the sort of depth at the position that you have seen in recent years. So that might be an area where OSU falls off, but considering that you probably can expect to get more out of the pass game with Justin Fields playing another season, I don't know how much you're going to miss that aspect either. And OSU's offensive line, I think, will be just fine this year. I'm not going to say that I could go a yard behind that line, but I think that they are going to block well enough that they will make sure that the running backs that Ohio State employs are productive.
There we go. National championship. You heard it here with Lori Schmidt. Let's go.
I love the positivity. We need positivity right now. So I will take that. Any kind of a shred.
I love it. Go follow Lori on Twitter at Lori Schmidt. Lori, anything you want to plug while we have you here? What do you got going on?
Well, I did, knowing that I was going to come on and talk about the memorial a little bit, I did think back and came up with my very favorite memorial tournament story that I wanted to share with you guys, if you will indulge me.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I love this golf talk. Go.
So British golfer Paul Casey came to the memorial a few years ago, and he was talking about how much he loved the people in the galleries, and he was planning on wearing scarlet and gray because he really wanted to get a lot of people behind him. And so I told him, Paul, look, if you really want to get the people here behind you, what you do is when you were walking up the 18th green past all these people wearing your scarlet and gray, what you do at that point is you yell, OH. And at that point, he leaned in with this great British accent and said, and what will happen? I don't know if he ever went on to do it, but because he really did insist that I tell him what would happen next if he yelled OH. But
did you answer him?
It's just my favorite moment. Where I'm sorry?
Did you answer him, or did you just leave him hanging?
No, I refused. I said just do it, Paul. Just do it. Yes. Because I really wanted him to experience that for himself, but I don't know if he had the courage to do so. I do know that he wore the scarlet and gray, though.
Love it. You see, he just didn't trust you, Lori. You're just not the trustable type.
No, it's the hat.
That's right. It's the hat.
Oh, that's fantastic. Lori, we really appreciate the time. Everyone go check her out on Twitter. Some great stuff in the Columbus area, Buckeyes especially, as this season kind of ramps up. Give her a follow. Going to be some good stuff for the Ohio State Buckeyes. So, Lori, we really appreciate the time. Go Bucks, and good luck at that doubleheader in Columbus.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate you having me.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Lori.
Lori Schmidt, everybody. All right, good stuff from Lori. Good to talk some golf and some Ohio State Buckeyes. I feel like we don't talk enough Buckeyes.
Both of those things. We actually worked in 3 things that we don't talk enough about. We didn't talk. We got Buckeyes in there. We got some golf in there, and I snuck in a little NHL. So that was pretty good. I appreciate that from Lori, bringing a different perspective and Columbus bias. We don't have enough Columbus bias on the show. So thank you, Lori.
That's right. And OU versus Miami, although that was short-lived.
yeah, that kind of got off to an awkward start. I don't think that really worked.
Oh man, that's great. All right, let's move into some Cleveland headlines.
Oh, this is my part, isn't it? Here's that dead air again. I'm all about the dead air today.
All the time.
So here we go. Sports are slowly coming back.
Here we
and so
go.
am I. And Cleveland Clothing Company is here to support all your favorite Cleveland teams. And now they have made it even easier by holding a site-wide sale with items starting at just $9.99. Is that right?
Woo.
$9.99.
I hope so.
You can visit any of their locations like downtown and East 4th, the Summit Mall in Akron and Shaker Heights, or by the Big Place Studio here in Crocker Park. As always, you can check them out online at clevelandclothingco.com. And remember to use our promo code BIGPLAY20, where you will get 20% off your purchase, Dave.
That is right. Got my Mark Price shirt on. Go check that one out. One of my favorite shirts.
Oh,
Fantastic
I still have to buy
stuff.
that one. I have to go get that one.
That's
Keep
right.
saying that every week. I'm going to make that happen.
That's a good one. Go support Mark Price and COVID relief. So come on.
Absolutely. He hasn't blocked me yet. He hasn't blocked me.
Has
from
he
when we had him
unfollowed
on
you
the
yet?
He has not unfollowed me. I check it periodically because there are times I'm like, nah, I don't know. You know, you go through this stuff with Mike Clevenger where, he obviously blocked me and doesn't like me. And I was like, I wonder if Mark Price saw any of this. And Mark Price got a little itchy about unfollowing me, but he did not. I still have the Mark Price follow.
So let's talk about that real quick, Chris, because you got a lot going on Twitter. So we had some good news out of from Tribe fans this week. Mike Clevenger stated that he loves just about everything in Cleveland. The bad news is that his only disdain for Cleveland is Chris McNeil. Called you by your government name there, Chris.
I know. So how
is going
about
on?
that? So I wake up. I think he sent that on Thursday night about 10:30, and I'm in bed by that time. That's just my life during the week. So I wake up early, about 4:30 the next morning. I look at my Twitter, and I'm used to getting a certain number of notifications. But some of the vitriol that I was getting, I was like, what the heck did I post last night? I have absolutely no idea what would get vitriol. And I looked, and sure enough, there's Clevenger and that famous tweet coming at me. I'm like, what kind of a world do I live in? Where, as an Indians fan and as a Clevenger fan, I've got like multiple shirts of his and like a big fan of the guy. I went on our show the week before talking with Joe Noga, and Joe kept talking about trading him. And I'm like, no, we got to keep the guy. And here now he's saying that he doesn't like me at all. So I live in a weird world. And then later on, Jason Kipnis liked that. And I said, what's the deal, Kip? I'm always pimping you. And he's like, always?
The JT gif.
Yeah, the Justin Timberlake gif. It was like, oh, man. That was one of those. I'm like, I don't know. These are two of the players who I really, really like. And if those guys don't like me for what I do on Twitter, can you imagine people like Nick Swisher? I mean, for God's sakes, who I'm just relentless against.
Well, then you had Peyton Hillis, who blocked you a long, long time ago. He's kind of doing a resurgence here in Cleveland with like a podcast or whatever. But did it make you? Did the wheels start turning and you were like, all right, I need to look up all these Cleveland athletes and see who has blocked me?
That's where I immediately just go to Mark Price. I'm like, as long as Mark Price, I usually check Mark Price
and then
Bernie Kosar.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll check those two. If those two, I'm still good. And usually Joe Thomas, too. If I'm really,
that's fair.
Those three will be the ones that I check. And as long as I'm good there, I'm like, everybody else, I don't care. I'm good.
All right. Anything you want to say to Clev to get unblocked here?
No. I think I've said enough. I think I've really said enough with Clevenger.
I have your shirts. Unblock me.
That's right. And it kind of goes back to where he had asked for my government name that you were talking about. And one of my favorite stories on Twitter is my mom just immediately like, I will give you, it's Chris McNeil. She was like going to give him my address and everything else to get signed spikes from Clevenger. She was the first person to sell me out. And like everybody sold me out immediately right after her. And I'm sure Clev was just like, this didn't go the way I expected it.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's great. Bree, are you blocked by anyone like Peyton Hillis?
I mean, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know. Never checked.
I mean, Mary Kay blocked me a while ago.
Fair.
She blocked you too?
Yeah, I don't understand why. I am so nice. Like, I'm not a mean person. I'm not like Chris.
Wow. Ouch. Little shade. I'm gonna go block Bree right now.
She just disappears from the screen here.
Or in the block.
All right, let's talk some NBA. Because the NBA coming back July 31st. Restart playing.
When did the Cavs play? I want to write it down
December.
right now so I don't miss it.
Get ready, it's coming. Yeah, so it's an 8-game schedule involving 22 teams that were all within 6 games of a playoff spot. Chris, unfortunately, Cavs were 11 games back from the 8th seed. 11 games back. No Cavs. Any interest here?
Andre Drummond, Tristan Thompson chucking up threes. I mean, I could just replay it in my mind. I'll have to go back to YouTube to watch that earlier in the season. I'm going to miss it, Dave.
I was hoping maybe they were going to do like an NIT type tournament for the losers bracket. Maybe let John Beilein come back and coach the team.
Oh my gosh, I forgot that was this year. Wow.
Doesn't that feel like it was like 7 years ago?
Half this year.
Yeah, half this
year.
Jeez.
Bree, you gonna watch this?
Heck yeah, I'm gonna watch this.
Yeah, sports. Come on.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Who are you cheering for?
Wait. So I'm a big Giannis fan.
Yes. How could you not be?
So I love Giannis. I really anyone in the East. I think outside of the Celtics. I don't want to see the Celtics go far. But I do like the Jazz, and I'd be okay like with the Nuggets. I said only the East, but now I'm going back because
you just got really excited there.
Because I forgot.
Somebody call on Bree quick.
I forgot that the Trailblazers had CJ McCollum on the team, and he's a Cleveland native, and he always reps and rocks Browns. So maybe I'll root for him.
There we go. That's a good reason to vote for someone. Chris, or who do you want to see win this?
No love for the Lakers, for LeBron to get a title?
Absolutely not.
I mean,
nothing.
Sure.
No.
I'd like to see him in the finals.
I forgot he played for the Lakers.
There you go. This is NBA talk, folks.
God. I mean, it feels like this year, like we've aged 5 years.
Big time.
Yeah. It is amazing. It is amazing. I can't believe it's going to be a continuation of that same season. And you think of all the stuff we went through as Cavs fans, like the trade, Andre Drummond. I mean, the coach. I mean,
LeBron should be retired. That's how long this is lasting.
That's exactly right. Colin Sexton, completely robbed for an MVP. He was surely on his way. Unbelievable.
Yeah. So, Chris, are you gonna watch the NBA? I mean, we have no other sports on. Why not? Right?
Absolutely, man. I am dying for something. I mean, geez, with no sports right now, it's just so brutal. You know, you have to spend time with family and do yard work. I mean, what's that all about, right?
I mean, I bought YouTube TV on Bree's recommendation. Thank you, I love it. But I haven't watched it since sports ended.
Well, I know.
Like I'm just on Netflix.
There's nothing to watch.
I'm not gonna watch I don't know what else is on there besides sports. Like when I log in, it was all sports, and now there's nothing, so I don't even log in anymore.
So does YouTube TV, will that have local sports? Will that have Fox?
Yeah,
it will.
It has local news too.
That's the key. I wonder if I can get it down here in C-Bus, because if that works, because I got to get rid of Spectrum, because right now I've got Netflix and I've got Amazon and I've got Disney Plus, and I notice I don't watch anything else on my TV at all. So
That's it.
I figure if I had YouTube, then I can get my sports. The only reason I keep it is for the Indians and for the Cavs. So if I can get that through YouTube, then I'm going to be cool.
You sure
You can. You get Fox Sports Network.
All right, Cleveland Headlines presented by YouTube TV. Here we go.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll remember to read that one too.
Yeah, there you go. All right, let's talk a little bit more Cavs here. So kind of a silver lining that we have out of this Cavs season, them being left out, is that we are technically tied for best odds of getting the number 1 draft pick this season. Too bad I don't know any of the players because we didn't have March Madness, but oh well. Cavs, the first pick, we've got a 14% chance. It dwindles down all the way to the 4th pick, 12% chance. And then the 5th pick is a 27.8% chance, and the 6th pick overall is a 20th percent chance. What do you guys want to see? Do you want to see us draft another guard here in the NBA in the NBA draft? What do you want?
I thought you were going to ask which pick do we want? Like, don't you want the first overall pick? Yeah.
I don't know, Chris. I haven't read in a while, so I'm not sure.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, we'll probably go guard. Why not?
But Chris, are you a big college basketball fan? Like during the season?
I am, but we didn't have March Madness.
That's what I'm saying, right?
You take away so much of that. It's like I don't know. I got to go back and do research to even see who the players are again. At least you'd have the highlights like on cue in your head for when you're talking about the draft of, oh yeah, that guy, that guy from Creighton or whatever, you would have it. But when you don't actually play the tournament, you don't have that right at your fingertips. It's tough. I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder how that'll affect scouts. Like, me looking at it, I'm like, oh, the best player in March Madness, let's draft him. Like, I was one of the guys that's like, oh, Derek Williams, we have to take him over Kyrie Irving. It's like, okay, that's probably my worst take ever. Bree, do you watch the regular season of college basketball or not really? You kind of the March Madness crew.
I'm part of the March Madness crew, I have to admit.
Yeah. Isn't this weird? We're not going to know any of these players. Like,
I know.
None of them.
It's sad.
Yeah, during the season, the only thing I'll watch the Buckeyes. I'll watch just about every game for the Buckeyes, but don't have a whole lot of news right there. But as far as around the league, I do not follow anybody else really very closely in the NCAA.
All right, so we've got the guards all set. We've got Garland, Sexton. We've got a center, Andre Drummond. We've got Kevin Love. I think he's still on the team. Tristan's probably gone. He's probably played his last time as a Cavalier. Do you think they should retire his jersey, by the way?
Ooh, good question. We'd have to look at his overall stat. I'd like to see his stat line. I know it all doesn't come down to stats.
His stat line's not going to get it done, but maybe in the offensive rebound category.
Yeah, I just like to see where he compares all time. I always like to look at the all-time list. Like, where is he at with rebounds right now? Minutes played, stuff like that. But I don't know. I just for this organization, maybe.
Right.
But then you kind of open it up to how many players on that team do you retire? Obviously, LeBron. And you have Kyrie, then Kevin Love, then Tristan Thompson. So you're going to have 4 of the 5?
No, I would go JR before Tristan Thompson.
Oh,
there you go. Then you go JR too. Why not? Just go all of them. And then do we go Delly? Then just throw them all in there?
Absolutely.
Channing,
I think you retire
RJ.
all of them. Yeah, Channing. I would love to retire Channing Frye's number here.
Yeah, I know.
Ty Lue? Why not?
David Blatt. Let's just keep going back. Ira Newell, Sasha Pavlovic. Just retire everyone. No.
We could. There's plenty of banner space. There's plenty of rafter space up there,
Yeah. I don't know. In this draft, I kind of want to get a small forward. That's all I got.
And who are your top 5 at small forward?
Well, my top 5 at small forward are definitely... right, moving on to a team we hope won't be in the top 10 next year. Browns offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt addressed the media virtually this week, had a ton of good stuff to say about the offense, a lot of positivity and lip service kind of going on this time of year. Bree, I'm going to go to you because I know Chris doesn't care about this type of stuff at all. Anything from that press conference you were excited about that kind of amped you up that you didn't know kind of going into it?
I mean, to your point, Dave, it always feels like you feel really confident based on just press conferences, interviews, and whatnot. But I think I think the biggest takeaway here is everything obviously is being done virtually. We know that. There hasn't been any in-person meetings, no mini camps, no OTAs. But I did appreciate the fact that he spoke about Baker Mayfield being really engaged, stepping up as a leader, showing up to different meeting rooms and listening in, because I do think like we need him to emerge as the leader and we need to hold him accountable this year, because last year I don't think that he had that level of accountability based on essentially having just a room of best friends in the quarterback room.
Yeah, that's a good point. And he's got a new drop back with his footwork.
Yes.
Got that going on for us.
Yeah, does that make you confident or like nervous?
Kind of nervous. Like, we're going to change all the mechanics from this quarterback that we drafted number 1 overall and had a great rookie year and then had a little bit of a slip in his sophomore year, and now we're just going to change everything.
Yeah, the mechanics of Baker Mayfield changing coupled with a right tackle that is moving to left tackle as a rookie.
Yeah, but, we had Greg Robinson.
Actually, back in college, he protected the blind side of Tua. So
there was a
actually
lefty.
like the left side,
Karen.
even though it's on the right side. Just wanted everybody to know.
Well, actually.
God, don't you hate
Great
those
point
people?
there, Chris. Great point there. No, I mean, Chris,
I didn't see too many T-shirts come out of this presser.
Not
I'm kind of
much,
upset.
not much. Do you think
We
that's
didn't have
over?
too many one-liners, not too many T-shirts. I mean, come on. The economy is coming back. We need some good logos, or we need some good sayings to put on some T-shirts to get this Cleveland Clothing Company and all the other great, fabulous T-shirt companies in Cleveland back up to 100% capacity. Let's go.
That's right. What was the last saying that we had on a Cleveland T-shirt? Whether it's Cleveland Clothing Company or RotoWare, who always gets it out really quickly. What was the last one? Was it like a Freddie Kitchens?
Pittsburgh started it.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez, yes, it was.
That didn't turn out so well.
No,
Just like all the Hugh Jackson and everything since then has not turned out very well.
Yeah, that's not good. Oh, well.
Yeah.
Oh, well. All right, we are going to go off of sports since there's really no sports going on and pivot to just some Cleveland news here with a little bit of a Cleveland gut check. It's gut check time.
This is gut check time. Gut check time.
All right, Mayor Frank Jackson commented that people consider Cleveland the butthole of the world.
I can't.
So in relation to the rest of the country, what body part would you consider Cleveland? Bree.
Wow. I thought very hard about this, and I'm going to go with the eyelashes.
Oh, okay. Please,
Because you-
please go on.
Because listen, I had to dig deep into this. You don't really think about your eyelashes all that much. I mean, some women and girls will get fake ones put on, but you need your eyelashes to protect your eyes. So I feel like Cleveland is necessary because of our passionate fan base and our blue-collared workers. So that's it. The eyelash.
That was the deepest thing I've ever heard on the internet. It's going to be the greatest promo clip of all time.
I can't wait until people attack me about that.
Oh,
And they were.
the most Cleveland thing I can think of, eyelashes.
They're beautiful.
Oh, boy.
You can make them even better by what you put on them. You can amplify them. So
There we go. That's it. All right, I'm gonna do a 180. I'm gonna go Cleveland's the gut. We like we like drinking beer. We've got great food here in Cleveland, Ohio. The gut is Cleveland, and that's a positive.
Nice.
Chris, what would you say?
Cleveland is the balls of the world.
that's even better.
You don't put up with as much as people in Cleveland put up with and not have a big set. So Cleveland, balls of the world.
I really want to see the mayor come out and use that. Be like, you know what? I'm retracting that comment of the butthole, and we're going with balls.
I mean, that would have actually been more of a compliment than butthole. Come on.
Oh, big time.
Well, yeah. I'm saying it as a compliment. I'm not saying it as a detriment.
It's Would You Rather time. All right, Bree. Would you rather read a book about the Browns written by Hugh Jackson or Freddie Kitchens? Or
Why not?
a coach in the past? You can pick a different one if you'd like.
Oh, well, that's not fair. You pick anybody else.
No, you have to pick one.
Oh.
Bree?
Okay. So
Eyelashes.
I actually would read Hugh Jackson's book for the sole purpose of it's going to be filled with a bunch of BS.
Big time.
Yeah. So like that stuff actually, as much as it bothers me that they're doing these things for clout and or just to stay relevant, I do still find it fascinating. It's like The Bachelor. Like I don't want to watch it because I find it all very annoying, but I still get sucked in sometimes.
You know, his book got me finally blocked from Mike Silver.
You were
Really?
blocked by
Yeah.
Mike Silver?
God, block party McNeil.
Wow.
I did, yeah. Because I proposed that the title be 0-16, Hugh Betcha. The story of how I went 1-31 and still retained my job with the Cleveland Browns. And I copied Mike Silver. I put forward by Mike Silver, and then I copied him on a subsequent tweet. And apparently that was enough for Mr. Silver. He had enough of one reflog, and he then blocked me.
How convenient, though, is it that Hugh Jackson was quoted last week as saying that he wanted to sign Colin Kaepernick?
Oh, of course he did.
Obviously, everything that's going on right now, and Colin Kaepernick is, being brought up in conversation again, all over again, from 4 years ago. And Hugh Jackson's like, yes, I wanted to sign Colin Kaepernick. And I was like, yes, but didn't you also want to sign A.J. McCarron?
Correct. Yes. That's exactly what I was going to say. That didn't come out last week again, did it? No.
Sashi blocked the Colin Kaepernick with the fax machine.
Thank God for the fax.
Yeah, right? Which one was it?
Jeez. Yeah, Bree, you're right. I mean, this guy, he's like Captain Hindsight. He always has the right answer after going 1-31.
After watching the film.
Hey, I still have a nice
I forgot
thank
about
you
that.
video from him though for the parade
That
So
you
always have
paid
that.
for.
That's right. Thank you, Cameo.
All right, Chris, I got one for you. Would you rather the Cavs have 9 months off like they are currently expected to have, or get more experience playing together this summer?
They're a young team. I'd probably want them to be playing and getting more experience. You want to have players play, so I'd say playing. But in the big broad scheme of things, I don't know that it matters a whole lot either way.
None of it matters. Bold predictions.
Bold predictions.
All right, Bree, putting you on the spot. Bold prediction time. What do you got for us
All right.
for this week?
For this week, Chris gets blocked by another Cleveland athlete.
I wonder who it's going to be. Can't wait.
I could see it. All right, Chris, bold prediction.
Okay, my prediction is going to be based on some insider information that I got this
Here we
week.
go.
And we're going to go to the ice. We're going to go NHL. And the NHL is going to announce this week that training camp will not start until August 1st. So that's a pushback, quite significant pushback. But I don't think they're going to have everything set. There's sources told me that the NHL is kind of fretting the timetable right now, and they're really seriously contemplating pushing it back to August 1st. So I think that's going to happen.
Look at that. I like it.
Sources.
Yes. All right, my bold prediction is that Chris's sources are going to be wrong.
Oh,
I'm going reverse bold prediction.
Can I bet on yours? Because I'll take that all day long. My sources have run about 50-50, so it's a good one to bet.
Do they really?
It splits up the bet pretty good.
Now, so you have a couple legitimate sources, and then you have the DM insider sources. Those are two separate things, correct?
That's correct. And this one happens to be a real live person in the know with the Blue Jackets. So this is a little bit higher than just a random DM that I'm retweeting as if it's fact. So
the real ones are 50-50.
I will be disappointed if this doesn't come out to be true.
Okay. What are the DM insiders? What rate do those run at? Probably from a percentage wise.
Okay, I was kind of lumping them all together before. So I'd say the DM insiders total, it probably puts that number at 50%. My legit people run me a lot higher than that, because usually if they're telling me something, then it's pretty well set, you know. And a lot of other people are usually in the know, by the way, by the time it gets to me.
Fair enough.
Unless you're the Cleveland Browns and you want to promote something and you let me know about it a whole 10 minutes before you go live with it. That's where you really get the inside information.
You're going to get blocked by the Browns tonight. Hey, Chris, we've got this video we're releasing in 5 minutes if you want to plug it.
That's exactly right. Thanks for the insider information. I appreciate it.
Oh, that's right. And that is our insider Reflog himself. All right, thanks for tuning in to the Big Play Reflog show this week. Look forward to seeing you guys next Monday night at 9 p.m. Big shout out to Shaq News. Please make sure you go check out Ice-T MC in that event, playing video games with the crew over there on June 11th, and the whole Shaq News E4 2020 series. You know, there's not a whole lot else going on. If you like video games, go check that out. It's going to be awesome, especially over on Twitch at Shaq News. Big shout out to Cleveland Clothing Company, getting things reopened, back in business, especially, you know, after the protests and getting the windows knocked in. You know, they've gone through a lot. Go support them, just like everything in Cleveland. And we will see you guys next week. Big thanks to Lori Schmidt for joining the show this week. Go follow her at Lori Schmidt, and we will see you guys next week.
Hi, everyone. Tim Kinsler from NBA Jam and NFL Blitz. You're listening to the best podcast on the air, Boom Shakalaka.
Okay, do you need medical attention?
Yes.
What is wrong?
I don't know. I ain't no goddamn doctor.
Free Shakalaka.